Apologies that we couldn't bring you the news at the top of the hour or four, but we have to proceed with programming today. It's for 12 minutes past 4. It's going to 13. Let's wait for it. 13 minutes past 4 right now. So we have to move on with our conversation today. Apologies that we had to end the earlier conversation abruptly because of the power failure. But hey, that's what it is for today. Please bear with us, okay? Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm Sheriff Quadry, and you're welcome to Hard Facts, right? Let's move on to Global Hard Facts for today. We're going to Kenya because Kenyan President William Ruto earlier today dismissed his entire cabinet, apart from the foreign minister who he has left. He dismissed his entire cabinet in the wake of the nationwide anti-government protest that has been going on in that country. This protest was led by the youth, the Gen Zs, if you want to call them that way. This protest was sparked by planned tax hikes, which Ruto, President Ruto of Kenya, was forced to abandon. And this has created the biggest crisis of his 2-year presidency. At least we hear 39 people have been killed in clashes with the police, and some demonstrators briefly stormed Parliament last month as well. Events still unfolding. I have joining me on the show this afternoon, well, evening if you like, in Kenya. It's past 6 in Kenya. Brian Sengeli joins me right now from Kenya. Brian, how are you doing today?
Yeah, good evening. We are very fine here in Kenya, and good evening to our listeners at this particular evening.
Brian, let's dig in very quickly. Before we get into the crux of this conversation, which is the new development about President Ruto dismissing his cabinet, let's track back a little bit to what has been happening in Kenya. Has the protest subsided yet, or are the Gen Z still on the streets of Kenya?
Currently, the protest has not ended. The youth are still on the streets, and there are so many demands that they want the government to do. Last few weeks, we witnessed a lot of sustained youth protests on the street of Nairobi and across the country, and they are putting forth a very strong message to the current regime that what we want is we want political accountability. We are fighting for our rights as youths to be listened to. And therefore, from the shooting that we witnessed last month, we actually witnessed a slowdown when it comes to the protest, because after that, now the political class took advantage of it, and we've been able to witness a lot of infiltration of people who have bad intentions, and this has led to the youth to go back and re-strategize on their ways. But they have not relented on their call. They are still engaging on social media. They are still going and demonstrating to key government offices. On Monday, we saw the medical interns went and demonstrated. I mean, they took their memoranda to the Ministry of Health because they were demanding that they want to be posted. These are youth who have finished their school, but now majority of them, they are just spending their time at home because there is no employment. They have not. Some of them have not even gone to their intern programs, and therefore we are still witnessing a lot of protests even after the government have started making some positive changes with which it's a reaction to their progressive calls.
Thank you, Brian. But there's another area of this protest I'd like for you to speak to, which is, from what I gathered, is a particular vigil that the protesters were saying they were going to observe. Was it vigil observed? And what's the purpose of this vigil?
That particular vigil was actually observed. It was observed on Sunday, and it was supposed to mark what we call Sabasaba in our country, because this is a historic day in our as a country. This is a day that was marked back its history is actually traced back in around 1990s, 1991, around there, whereby we were having a multi-party clamor, and therefore it's an event that is usually observed every year, and it's just uniquely it found itself within the the protests that the youth were that were happening around the country, and the youth decided to take that particular opportunity to also honor the fallen soldiers who are the youth who have died during the protest. And this particular day, or this particular event, it actually we saw a lot of youth coming out, majority of them in thousands, and it was a peaceful vigil that was actually conducted. And actually from there, we've not seen a lot of police using a lot of force on protesters, because I think we are getting to using some kind of restrictions when it comes to handling the protesters.
Has there been any form of negotiation between, the government of President Ruto and the protesters? Has there been any form of deliberation going on between the government side and the protesters? Because the information I have is that it's very hard to pinpoint exactly if the protest has some leaders or some they're leading, what do you say now, a leading group of the protesters that's fronting for them in negotiating with the government. Has there been any conversation whatsoever between the protesters and the government?
Well, at the beginning of the protest, we saw the government or the president conceding and withdrawing the finance bill, that which was controversial, and which led to this particular protest. And after that, the youth have continued going to the street, because their clam actually changed from now rejected finance bill 2024 to now fire the cabinet, dissolve the cabinet. We want changes. We want austerity measures in the government. We want to live within our means. And after that, we saw the president withdrawing that particular bill. After that, the youth also called for a dialogue with the president on X.
And
that actually happened. And we saw the youth actually expressing their concerns and frustrations to the president, and how the government has disregarded their voices in majority of the decision making. And after that, the president said that we are going to have a multi-stakeholder engagement that could bring together the youth and other players from other sectors, so that we can have a conversation. And a few weeks or 2 days from today, we saw the president as well taking other austerity measures that he had promised to take. We saw the president signing the IEBC bill, which is supposed to give powers to the Constitution panel to reconstitute the elections body. And these are some of the achievements that have been gotten from the protest. And on that today, we saw also the government having a conversation with the opposition side of the of the political side, and they had an agreement that they have settled on dialogue, because this country needs dialogue for us to move forward. But the youth were in opposition to that, because they felt like the opposition was taking advantage of their progressive movement to advocate for their own personal interests. And they actually rejected, because they rejected the multi-stakeholder engagement, because the president has said that we are going to constitute 150 committee to look into the issues of the youth and the country. And the youth said no, because our demands are very straight, and our demands doesn't need us to dialogue. Our demands are very straight. Just dissolve the cabinet, fire all the corrupt people in the government. And that's all we want. We want austerity measures implemented, and that doesn't need us to have dialogue. And after that is now when we have seen the president addressing today and solving the cabinet as one of the demands that the youth had requested.
I mean, I want to stay on the demands that the young people of Kenya have requested from their president. And Brian, from everything that you've said, it sounds though to me as though the president is actually listening to his people and is acceding to the demands of his people as well. But from what you can see on the ground, would you say that what President Ruto has been able to do in answering to the demands of the people, in yielding to the demands of the people, will be enough to quell the protest? The reason I ask this question is because this question moved away very quickly from anti-tax hike protest to Ruto out protest. Are the protesters still bent on President Ruto resigning from office, or what he has done right now has been able to quell that agitation for him to resign?
One of the reasons why the youth actually went to the street is because of the eroded trust, and the people had started losing faith in the president. At the beginning, people had a lot of faith in him. People had a lot of trust in him because he campaigned on the basis of economic recovery of the country. He said that we are going to form a government of the common person. I mean, after that, and then he went ahead and...
Brian, you're going to have to bear with me. Please hold your thought. Don't lose it, okay? Please hold on very tightly to it because we need to head out now for a quick break. We'll be back to continue with our conversation. Lagos, stay here.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's now why anytime when they cook like this, I they always season them with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatasheo, shombo, onions. No one I know they put. Now he make my pikin them, they always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never will. I want more.
You see?
Summer all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them with no cubes for that to get delicious taste. Today, chop better.
It's my so clean, new and improved. It's my so clean. Refill powder that is up easily. It's my so clean. Foams master, 2 times cleaning power. It's my so clean. Little cars along the way. It's my so clean. So clean, so clean. New So Clean detergents. Every grain works for you.
Let us dive into the heart of global affairs.
We go beyond the headlines and into the real stories shaping our world.
Why paying more than $200 million to have 1,000 Kenyan soldiers come to Haiti when we could use that money to train the police?
What you've done with your grief is actually to spread it and give it and turn it into the love.
This served Netanyahu because he didn't think Hamas would ever be a serious military threat.
Congo is a country with so much wealth. The people have been fighting to regain control.
From the corridors of power to the front lines of change, Borderline brings you in with analysis of the issues.
The U.S. has power over them. Most of them will steal money from Haiti and invest in the U.S.
So people who support Sonko and Jumai 5, over half of them don't have a voter's card.
Sounds like Nigeria.
Join Ireti Bakari Yusuf on Borderlines as she engages with policymakers and thought leaders,
giving you perspectives and insights you won't find anywhere else.
Be part of the conversation. Join us live.
Your voice matters on Borderlines as we explore the complexities.
Every Friday at 4 p.m.
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Stay informed, stay engaged.
Step into the conversation.
Quality performance in abundance, energy and constance. This one no be one chance. 70% electricity saving for your AC. 50% electricity saving for your freezer. Refrigerator.
washing machine, Tamukuno the shake out sure. We there for you. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We there for you. Ayatamokuna number one. We go there for you. Quality appliances for all. Oh. We there for you. We go there for you. We there for you. Tell me which kind thing Viva no fi wash away, 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 away. Gelato, tomato paste, or coffee stain your body. Viva go wash away, 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 away. Chicken in for your clothes, now all you need for Viva to wash away, 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 away. Eh, gentle for your pocket, gentle for your hand. Oh my Viva, you couldn't make you shine. Oh Viva, oh Viva, oh yo yo. I love my Viva, oh Viva, oh yo yo. Uncle say bye bye to very tough stage, yo. Oh yo yo. Mama say bye bye to any kind stage, yo. Oh yo yo. Oh Viva, oh Viva, oh yo yo. I love my Viva, Viva, oh yo yo.
Access Holdings, they call all shareholders, now rights issue time from 8th of July to 14th of August. You fit buy new shares for 19.75 kobo each. If you get 2 shares already, you fit buy 1 extra. The offer, they open to people who hold access shares. Come join the access trade. For the full story about our rights issue, sharply go www.theaccesscorporation.com. Everything they there, from the right circular to the people where they sell the shares, the bank where they collect, and our legal advisors there. Access Holdings, where the world connects.
Who says you can't have it all with one play?
I got that defined point. You have just won yourself.
Congratulations.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Melitus. Come on, one player, don't talk to 2 players because you won 20K.
So now you won yourself 20,000 naira.
My name is Well Done.
Okay, well done. You want to tell you well done. You won yourself 20,000 naira.
With 500 naira, you can play to win big. From 120,000 naira to 190,000 naira daily on Nigeria Info. Go to oneplay.ng and play with 500 naira. And in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. Or dial *347 *880 *3#. Win daily on Nigeria Info. 50,000 naira on Morning Crossfire. 60,000 naira on WhatsApp Lagos. 20,000 naira on Sunnyside. And 60,000 naira on Game On. So Lagos, what are you waiting for? The more you play, the better your chances of winning. Remember to dial *347 *880 *3#. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18.
Everything surely comes to an end. That dinner, that mushy movie, even that long traffic. But there's one thing that doesn't. Enjoy truly unlimited data with Airtel Unlimited Speed-Based Plans. Visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to buy now. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
It's my so clean, new and improved. It's my so clean. Breathe no powder that is up easily. It's my so clean. Foams master, 2 times cleaning power. It's my so clean. Little cars along the way. It's my so clean. So clean, so clean.
New So Clean detergent. Every grain works for you.
A brighter tomorrow begins with smart choices today. With the Union Correct account from Union Bank, you get to secure your tomorrow and get rewarded while at it. You can start saving with just 5,000 naira monthly and enjoy fantastic interest rates. Yes, you can save as low as 5,000 naira. That's not all. Every 6 months, you stand a chance to win amazing cash prizes of up to 500,000 naira. Correct. Make that move. Open the Union Correct account today. To get started, visit any Union Bank branch or log on to our website at www.unionbankng.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Union Bank, your simpler, smarter bank.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with no seasoning cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans.
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
The I Beg to Differ debate tournament, the Nationals, is coming. August 12th in Lagos. Witness the brightest minds from across the country in a battle of intellect and eloquence.
Have you ever wondered if controlling resources will be the key to dismantling?
Yes, a child has not been properly academically satisfied.
Has such person not also get experience, like your fifth point?
Experience fierce competition.
Peace cannot be kept by force. It's not because there's natural resources there.
Persuasive arguments.
I believe that through a balanced approach to religion and education.
Don't you think that such a person is old enough to decide?
And innovative thinking.
By 1985, the poverty level was below 46%. If they don't have money for tuition, are you saying they are not going to be accountable?
Whether you're a debater or a spectator, mark your calendars for August 12, 2024. I Beg to Differ, the Nationals in Lagos, Nigeria. Get ready to be part of history. For sponsorship and other inquiries, call Lagos Larry Griffin 0706 827 1163, Shola Kolade 0907 173 3835, or send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ Students Debates Competition, the Tournament of Champions.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info. This is Hard Facts.
Welcome back to Hard Facts here on Nigeria Info 99.3. Good evening to you wherever you are in the city of Lagos, Nigeria. We're connecting Lagos straight to Kenya today because of the dramatic twist of events happening out of that country. I'm sure that you're aware. We've been looking at the events unfolding in Kenya for some time now. You know, we have a global show called Borderlines every Friday here on Nigeria Info from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. 2 hours discussing global issues from one country to the other country. That's what the show is essentially for, right? Okay, we've discussed the issue of Kenya there as well. But, a new development just happened right now because President Ruto has dismissed his cabinet, except, of course, for the foreign minister, and the deputy president is also still in office. Apart from all of those, the other ministers are all out of office. And I've got on the show with me Maryann Sengeli, who is a policy and governance analyst. He joins me from Kenya today. Brian, thank you again for joining. Before the break, I was asking you about whether the measures taken by President Ruto has changed the dynamics of the protesters, or they are still bent on President Ruto resigning?
Well, thank you, Sheriff. And as I was explaining before, as a country, we've had a history whereby our politics was actually built on ethnic lines. And when President Ruto was campaigning, one of his campaign agenda was to recover. To bring this particular country into an economic recovery mode. And by the time he was taking over the leadership mantle of the country, the economy of the country was very bad. We were in a very bad condition as a country. And he said we were going to build or to make or to constitute a government of the common people. We've had a history whereby most of the majority of the people in government have been from the political dynasties, and therefore the government that we are going to make is the government of the common person. After that, the president went ahead to appoint his cabinet ministers, and it was interesting that majority of the people who were appointed into those positions were the political allies of the president, and majority of them, they were very they did not have the competency to hold those particular offices. And majority of the people had this particular vision that the government, the president, yes, he has a vision of transforming the country, but now the people he has put in power to ensure that this particular vision is realized, they are not going to do this work because their history was known. And that was not actually fault, because we have seen that coming to happen. And after that, we've seen a lot of corruption cases among these people, because majority of them had integrity issues. And we've seen as well these people holding the government of the day hostage in its development agenda. Some of them, I can tell you, they could not explain what the president wanted to do. Majority of them, they fumbled. And this put doubt in people whether the government of the day is going to achieve whatever it promised the Kenyans.
Right.
And it is because of the economic hardships that the government, the Kenyans have experienced. And the government of the day, I think, because of the incompetence, they did not think outside the box. And the only thing that they thought of was increasing the tax base. And they introduced now this punitive tax bill, the finance bill 2024, that introduced a lot of taxes on basic necessities. And people felt like this is not going to augur well, because the economic situation at the moment is not it's not well. And this actually led to erosion of trust by people in the, not only the president but also institution, because you saw that the country was struggling economically. We have a debt that is over 1 trillion Kenyan shillings. We have an economy that is dilapidated. We have a government that is spending money carelessly. We have a government that is leaking a lot of public resources, cases that are being dismissed by the court. And people thought that the only way now that the president is reluctant to cracking his whip on them, now solution is the president going home with them, resigning. And that's why the youth are calling for people to resign. And even after he more, because we are just beginning. We are just beginning for a very long journey as a country. There is a lot to be done. And majority are asking that it didn't have to take all this long for reason to reign. The president could have done the right thing at the beginning. We have taken a lot of time to act on some of these things, and we have gotten ourselves into a hole that would take us a lot of time getting out.
Right.
And I think it's not too late for the president to regain the trust of the people. And I think that the trust of the people, the populace had been tired of him. And that's why he's going those
we're losing connection with you.
Given this decision to dissolve the government, it was
Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, but you're frozen on my screen.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. It's better now. Please go on.
Right. I'm sorry for the connection. I was actually saying that the decision of the president to dissolve the government was not actually expected, because it came at an unprecedented time. And this is quite historic, and the second time the president is dissolving the cabinet. And it was interesting to see the president sending home both those cabinet secretaries who are performing and those who are not.
Brian, we may have to let's reinitiate this call. Because the network is not good. Can you hear me, Brian? It seems to be okay now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Brian. Because of time, let me quickly just chip in here, and this will be, my last question before I let you go. Is that so? The president has dissolved his cabinet. Then what next? Do you think that at least with this move, the protesting Kenyan youths can, have, like you said, have some bit of trust in President Ruto once again? The kind of trust they had in him that made them vote for him. Do you think this kind of move now would restore a bit of that trust?
Yes, the president, while addressing the nation, he said that he is going actually to make other further changes, and we are very sure that maybe he's going to announce further austerity measures within the government, and as well as send people who are not performing both at the permanent and secretary level and some of the head of corporations. One of the demands that people are asking for the president to do is to reduce government spending. And the president actually promised to disband some of the public corporations that were not making profits. And I think it's because of this particular decision, I think, expect some level, because people are demanding that because our budget is leaner, we want a government that is leaner and accountable to the people.
Okay.
And we are demanding that because our constitution asks or demands that we need to have at least 14 cabinet secretaries and at most 22. We want to see the next step the president is going to make is to appoint cabinet secretaries who are lesser than the number that he had initially.
Okay.
We want to only see between 14 and
22.
And perhaps this could regain some trust within people. And further to add on to this, we've seen the president also promising to make a government of national unity. And this was actually as a result of his engagement the other day with the opposition. And one of the expectation is that probably some of the cabinet secretaries who are going to be appointed, some of them are going to come from the opposition side. So we believe that this is going to make some political dynamic changes, because whenever the opposition is going to be brought on the table, and then we're also looking forward to some of the youths being appointed to this position because they're asking for that. After that, we want the government to be a listening government, because one of the reasons why youths are frustrated is because they have been disregarded for quite long. Their voices did not count in the majority of the decisions. And therefore, if the president has started listening to their demands, then this could mean that some of the decisions that is going to make going forward should be informed by what the people want. The people just demands that the president listens to them. They demand that the president should do what they want, and not the government that has been imposing decisions on people. And I think it's going to make some political changes, and I think it's going to make political dynamics of the country.
Okay.
And I think that's going to earn him some trust from the people.
Ah, yeah. Brian, we have to leave it here for today. We'll keep knocking on your door anytime you want to hear what is happening in Kenya. Brian Sengeli is a policy and governance analyst all the way from Kenya. Thank you, Brian, for joining us on Hard Facts today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to this show today.
All right. Well, we hope that Kenya is able to resolve Kenya's problem. No interference whatsoever. I'm going to go straight to Kemi now. Then when Kemi is done, I will come back here. We'll wrap up our conversation. Kemi, how are you doing?
I'm fine. A
Okay.
bit chill, but like I'm good.
I know, everywhere is hot, Abby.
Very, very hot.
Very hot,
Just
yeah.
had the weather is Lagos, it's still about winning here on oneplay.ng. Okay, we're still giving out money here on Nigeria Info, and I'm here to remind you that you too could be part of the lucky winners. Okay, all you have to do is go to the website, which is www.oneplay.ng, or just dial the code *347 *880 #3# and play with as little as 500 naira. That's all you have to do, Lagos, to be in the draw. Remember that you can win money on almost every of the shows. Okay, there's money to be won on Money Crossfire, What's Up Lagos, Game On, Sunny Side, and on weekends as well. Okay, there's also money to be won on the Football Frenzy show every weekend. And that's not all, because the best part is that every Friday there is a jackpot. So what better time to give you more money than the weekend? Okay, it's a Friday, and Friday is literally around the corner. That's tomorrow. So play so you don't get told stop playing. If you've been playing since Monday and you've not won till now, well, guess what? You automatically just qualify for that draw. Okay, you automatically just qualify for the weekly jackpot, and your chances of winning are the same whether you play on the website, which is www.oneplay.ng. Remember, Lagos, to play responsibly. Remember to tell a friend. If you are 18 under, do not touch this. It's for people above 18, not 18 and under. I beg. Don't do that. Give another person so that they can play and you can get your commission. It is easy with one play. It's no hassle. Go to the website and pick your station Nigeria Info. Play with 500 naira and watch the rest happen smoothly. All right, Lagos. I wish you luck.
Welcome back to Hard Facts. Kemi, thank you. Yeah, there you go. We have had the conversation on Kenya, and there's a lot going on in that country. What I see is a country struggling to survive, a country trying to do everything within its powers to reset its own trajectory. Courtesy the young people of that country, of course, in conjunction with the president of the country himself, because he's been a listening president, although he didn't actually have a choice to begin with. It's not that he had a choice. No, he didn't have a choice because the voice of the people is always the most powerful voice in any country in the world. So we wish Kenyans best of luck, right? Okay. Now, I'm going to take one or two calls before we go on our final break that will lead us through into 5 o'clock hour, okay? We're going to take one or two messages as well on WhatsApp. Your tweets can also come in as well. Would appreciate that. Of course, we do. In the meantime, let me quickly say here that if you like to call, the telephone lines have been adjusted a bit. We now have one line for the male callers and one line for the female callers as well. For the male callers, the line is 0201 277 0993. That is 0201 277 0993. For the female callers, the number is 0201 465 7190. For the female callers, that is 0201 465 7190. For the female callers. WhatsApp is 0809 597 5805 for WhatsApp. That is 0809 597 5805 on WhatsApp. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can join the live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. Right. At 5 o'clock, when we return from the newsroom, we'll be talking about who is protecting our children. Yeah, we started the conversation in the 4 o'clock hour, but in the 3 o'clock hour, but we couldn't get to the bottom of it. Well, We already plan to discuss it at 5 o'clock, so that conversation is coming up. And I'd like for everybody to be a part of it, because it's a conversation that we must have as a people, as a community as well, because it appears our girl children are at risk. They are in danger, and we must discuss it. It's non-negotiable. Apparently, they are even more in danger from the people closest to them, their father, their brother, their uncles. It is heartbreaking. It is really, really heartbreaking to want to think that our children will be in danger, especially from those closest to them. That conversation is coming up at 5 o'clock. In a matter of a few minutes, we'll head into that conversation. Meantime, let me go and take some comments that have dropped, and then we'll take one or two calls, right? This comment from Mrs. Oboli reads, "Indeed, we wish Kenyans the best of luck, but I can't say same for Nigerians, even as we plunge headlong into our economic woes on a daily basis." That's Mr. Oboli. Let's take one or two calls, shall we? Good evening to you.
Good evening, Sherry.
Yes, please. Good evening to you.
This is Pastor Ladipo.
You're welcome.
From Orile in Sarigum. You see, these Kenyans, I think they are now going the right direction. And I want to also applaud the government that they are not really being too harsh. They are really listening to them. And I pray that Africa, one day, every African nation should be liberated from bad leadership, serious bad leadership. You are complaining against something, and by the time you gain the opportunity to be there, the same thing Museveni is doing in Uganda. He fought against Idi Amin. Now since he has power,
I have to go now.
Opposition can't go there.
I must go
God
now.
save this nation.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Let's go to break. When we return from the break, we'll head into our final conversation. Stay here on Nigeria Info.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.